Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for another video, and welcome to Buildmas Day 3. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a build that was requested by my wonderful mod Kibby in my Discord server. She wanted me to do a Harry Potter inspired interior build. She did want to make it Christmas themed, but I went with more just a general theme because I'd actually never ever done this before, so I wanted to create kind of like a wizard school theme in here. I wanted to do all 4 rooms and kind of create this theme overall, so it's not technically Christmassy themed, but I do go in at the end, I'll show you, and add in a little Christmas tree just to show you like a little change I did to make it festive. As always with Buildmas, there is still time to get in your suggestions. I've had a lot of people adding suggestions in on my recent videos, so thank you so much for that. There is still time to let me know in Discord or on my YouTube channel and let me know what you want to see. As always at the start of the video, I just want to mention there is still a huge amount of you who are not subscribed to the channel that are watching my content. So if you do enjoy the content and you enjoy DDV, please do consider subscribing, turning on the notification bell so you can see whenever I go live or post a video, and make sure you like the video. Now let's get started. The room I wanted to start off with actually wasn't the main room, it was the one to the left. I wanted to kind of do these outer rooms first because I kind of just liked the idea of doing those first because they were the rooms I was definitely wanted to ensure that I had in this build. Now this first one is going to be a potions classroom. So as you can see, I've gone with a really dark flooring and also a dark wallpaper. I wanted it to have this darker theme because if you obviously look in the movie or just in kind of a potions classroom in general, it tends to have this darker vibe. Obviously everything seems a little bit more darkened down, a little bit grey. I obviously did add in some windows and some lighting as we go on to brighten things up a little bit, but for now I wanted to kind of place in the furniture I knew I wanted to use. I wanted to have a fireplace in the centre. I'm obviously going to put in some desks and things like that, but I first off wanted to kind of get the items placed that I knew I'd probably be using. Now, as we went on, I obviously wanted to get the desks placed in pretty early on because I wanted to know what kind of spacing I had around them, as these were going to be obviously the main feature of the build. So I added in some of the desks from the aerial bundle and then popped some kind of study related items on top to kind of get a good feel of what I wanted to include. I also wanted to go for a lot of symmetry at the front of the build, not so much at the back, but mainly at the front where the fireplace and everything was. So I went with some of the Yzma potions to kind of add to that potion vibe, and then also added in some of the banners from Merida's quest. These I've really been loving using to kind of reflect different banners. Obviously these have no relevance to the movie and aren't at any point related, but I felt like they just really reminded me of something you would see in Hogwarts because they obviously have the house banners absolutely everywhere. So I wanted to include those at the front of the classroom, make sure I had some reflective kind of symmetry going on, and add a load of bookshelves and a load of potion shelves all around the room to really reflect that. I obviously do go in and add some scrolls, some candles, and lots of lighting, and I obviously will go in later and add in some droppable items like the droppable potions and things like that as well. The final touch in here was to add some floating candles to the ceiling, because obviously these are going to be present throughout the whole build. And then we moved on to the next room, which is going to be the back room, and this is going to be our great hall. Now this one I did play around with for a while because I had an idea in mind. I really wanted to use these aerial bundle tables because they are absolutely huge, and then I also really love the idea of using the new Merida chairs that you can get in Scrooge's store. However, the rooms are just so small that I realized this was just not going to be possible. You can see me play around with it for a while. I get the wallpaper and the flooring in to try and like make it work, and I really wanted to, but I just felt like I wasn't going to be able to put anything else in this room if I continued on with these tables. So I did debate kind of moving them around and changing them, but I ended up changing them to different tables completely. I still went for some bigger dining tables, but not as big as these. But I just felt like that was the only change I could really do in order to have the two sides and have the two different separate table sections similar to in the film. And I do go in later and change the chairs multiple times because I felt like these Merida ones were a little bit bulky, but I do use them somewhere else in the build anyways. Now with the seating at the front, I wanted it to look like in the movie where all the teachers and stuff sit at the front of the hall. Obviously I can't include as many chairs as they have in the film, but I really wanted to do that to give that vibe. I also added the statue we got in the Inside Out event to kind of represent a statue that you'd have at the front of the Great Hall. This is the thing I do go in later and change. I'll show you a photo of it right at the end where I change it to a Christmas tree. So that is a really good tweak and change you can do to make it festive. There are definitely other ways you can do so by adding gifts around, adding some Christmassy lighting, Christmassy decorations. So if you did want to adapt this build for Christmas, that would be a really good way to do it. If anyone does want to see a kind of version of this but more festive, let me know and I can pop a version of it on my TikTok just as like a little short one to show you little tweaks and changes you can do. But for now I wanted to go for a traditional Great Hall. I added some of the inauguration ribbons to kind of section this teacher's area off, added some little podiums to put some lights on, and started decorating the tables, which are going to be packed full of food. I do make all the food off camera and start adding it because there is a lot of it, but I wanted it to be completely packed, completely full, and obviously wanted to use these big aerial windows to really open the hall up and make the room seem bigger than it is. Now, something I did go in and do last minute was change the chairs in the build. I felt like the green really didn't work with the red carpet going down the middle, and I really wanted to keep that included because it reminded me of kind of the one you'd have in the movie. So I actually changed out for these tangled red chairs. These are from the premium shop, but there are definitely some other red chairs in the game, like in Scrooge's, that would work really well. So I wanted to kind of tweak that, change that, and then I obviously went in with the classic melted candles all over the ceiling from the previous Villain Star Path. I wanted to make sure I included these everywhere to obviously fit the vibe of the film. So the next room we're going on to is the final offside room, and this is going to be a dormitory room. Now, when I saw these new beds come into the Storybook Vale shop in the December 4th update, I knew straight away I have to do a kind of Harry Potter wizarding school inspired dorm room with these beds. They just fit perfectly for this vibe, and I'm so glad I got my hands on them before I did this build. I was kind of hoping I'd get them in time because I feel like they fit. There are other beds in the game that definitely would work, but these for me just felt perfect because they are these like 4 poster beds. So I added in 4 of those around the room. Again, went for a symmetrical look on the back wall with the fireplace and the chairs to keep the theme going, keep it very similar to some of the other items I have in the other rooms. I wanted to keep it all looking very, very kind of matching in a way. And then I obviously went in from that and started adding in windows and other furniture items to kind of get the look going. Now with the walls of this room, I did play around with them a lot to try and figure out where I wanted everything to be. I did want to include a lot of paintings at some point in the room to match the ones in the movie. And I hadn't managed to really fit paintings into the walls of the other rooms, which I felt like was such a shame because they're such a big part of the style. So I wanted to make sure I included them in the dormitories, and I did play around with the location. I actually ended up with putting them on the back wall by the door, and I moved the bookshelves into the middle section and then put some of these starlit windows at the front to try and keep things different on the walls. I definitely wanted to include some bookshelves into the paneling of the walls and to make it look like they're kind of naturally part of the structure, but also include a lot of paintings to reflect that theme of the film. To finish up in the room, I changed the wallpaper and the flooring. I wasn't sure what to go for, but again wanted to go for this kind of bright look to match the colours of the beds and some of the tiled flooring to really make it fit. And then we moved on to the final room, which this is going to be a greenhouse inspired room. This I wanted to kind of base on the greenhouse you obviously have in the film where they go and plant the mandrakes and everything like that. Obviously it is hard to reflect that in game because it is such a niche thing, but I wanted to do my best to create a greenhouse that felt natural and kind of relevant to the film. And I felt like this was something that probably wouldn't be included in a Harry Potter build, but I really wanted to have a go at, see if I could do it. And I feel like this would be a really fun build to do in any themed room. It wouldn't have to be that. You could use this for like your flower storage or something. I feel like this would be really, really fun to have in kind of any interior build in general. As I didn't get to use this big table in the Great Hall room, I decided to use it actually here in the greenhouse and put it in the centre of the room. I wanted this to feel like where the class would kind of sit to do whatever they're doing out here. So I decided to add that in with some stools and some chairs around it. I obviously added in a lot of the little lily pad lights because they fit so well with this floral theme. And then I went in and added in a bunch of different floral items. I did some craftable ones, I did some ones we've got from Quest, and kind of just had a lot of fun with it and added in a lot of different things. I wanted it to look very eclectic and kind of very mismatched and very bright and green, obviously. So I went in and added a load of those around the room into these tiny little corner sections wherever I could find a spot, and then also obviously added some to the middle table to look like the people in the class are obviously potting some creatures or some plants or whatever they're up to. Finish up, I then added some hanging leaves to the ceiling, obviously expanded the windows all the way around the sides of the room and added in some more things onto the ceiling to light it up. I used some of the Remy lights to kind of make this table centre lit for the last part of the build. So this is the final build. As you can see, we're starting in the greenhouse. I know it's the last thing I built, but it's the first thing when you come into this house that you see. And as you can see, the animation of the leaves falling out of the little truck just adds such a whimsical feel. I also added in some of the hanging vines from the new Encanto bundle in the premium shop because these just look incredible in here. The windows really open the room up and make it feel a lot bigger than it is, I feel like. And then obviously, as you can see, there is a lot of foliage, crafted little plant pots and items all around the room. And then we move into our potions classroom, which, as you can see, has a lot of a darker vibe. It is a lot more dark in here. We have the symmetrical look going on at the front of the room and at the sides. We've got our little desk covered in books and potion making tools, and we obviously have our cauldron in the middle for people to do their spells. I also added in some of the potion tables we got with Jafar at the back with some potion shelves above, and then these dark curtains really closed off the corners and made it feel a lot more gloomy in here. And then obviously across the ceiling we have got a light in the middle and then lots of melted candles. The next room is our great hall, and as you can see, again, the windows in here have really opened the room up, made it feel bigger than it is, and we have got tables packed full of food in here. I've also added some little books and things like that to make it really feel like people are studying in here. We've obviously got the front section with the seats for the teachers, and then also the statue in the middle to be kind of a grand feature, which I'll show you later. I do change out for a Christmas tree to give you an alternative. And then obviously the ceiling, as per usual, is covered with loads of melted candles and some chandeliers because these are a focal point of the room. Our final room is our dorm room, and now as you can see in here, it's a much brighter feel, which is what I wanted to go for. I wanted to add a bunch of potions and books in here to make it feel like it's really lived in. And we've got the little seating area by the fireplace at the front. We've got the four poster beds to kind of be the symmetrical pattern with the bookshelves in the middle, and we have a load of paintings across the back wall to make it feel like these would probably chat to the students as the day goes on. And then I've added in some loads of little potions and crystals and snippets all across the floor to really make it look cluttered in here, but also add to that magical feel as if the students are kind of testing out their different spells before they go to bed. So here are some shots of the final build. I hope you guys did enjoy. I feel like this would be one that isn't necessarily super Harry Potter themed in the sense that you couldn't use this or kind of recreate some of these rooms in a different theme. I feel like a lot of them would work in a witchy build, and the greenhouse would work in kind of a more summery build. I feel like there is a lot of alternatives. I also feel like the Great Hall one you could definitely change up for Christmas pretty easily. So I will show you in the final bit of this where I kind of changed that up. But I feel like these rooms could definitely be used in different functions, but I really enjoyed doing them and I hope you enjoyed seeing them. Let me know down below what you think of this build. And here is a quick shot of the change out of the Christmas tree. I wanted to kind of do a basic Harry Potter build first, but I thought I'd just show you an example in case you did want to see it a bit more festive. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Let me know down below your thoughts. And again, if you have any more Buildmas ideas, leave them in the comments below or join my Discord in the description to put your suggestions in there as well. I'm sure the community in there would love to hear it. And I hope you guys did enjoy day 3, and I will see you tomorrow for day 4. Bye!